Hi, I'm JC Pohl with Teen Truth, and I want to just sit and visit with you right now on how to get students engaged in Zoom and remote learning lessons. You know, at Teen Truth, we travel the country working with schools, middle schools and high schools all over America, as well as Canada and everywhere in between. And we actually run a Facebook group for school administrators that we started initially for our schools that we're working with, but it's grown now to almost 5,000 administrators across the country. And I've seen a lot of questions in the group on how to get students engaged in Zoom. And while, I love Teen Truth and I work in schools and I love working with students, my background is actually as a filmmaker and working in marketing and production for companies like Disney and Warner Brothers. So I want to take the time right now, maybe just spend 10 or 15 minutes with you. So if now is not the right time, maybe save this video for later in the day when things slow down a little bit. But spend 10 or 15 minutes with you to talk about content creation from a production standpoint, from the lens of a producer. Because while I know that we're all educators and we have a passion for educating children, remote learning has really kind of thrown our teachers, our principals, our counselors into the world of content creation. And so I want to just kind of look at that with you here. So let's jump on into it, all right? Here's the question that came up in the group. Principal by the name of Ronaldo. Ronaldo said, our high school teachers are concerned about our students that have not been showing up to class. Students that have not been doing their work, but are showing up in the physical. Students that are not responding to emails, they're not responding to phone calls. What are we doing to make sure that those students are being re-engaged in this distance learning process? And Ronaldo asked a really good question. This COVID, this remote learning is really a sink or swim for some of our students. Some students are going to take it upon themselves and take control of their education and take control of their future. And other students are going to struggle. They're going to struggle because of systemic issues or maybe environmental issues or just issues they're having themselves with their ability to engage. But I think for us as content creators, we really need to look at like what we're doing to get kids engaged and how to get out in front of this, just like any filmmaker or production company or Hollywood studio would do. And for me at Teen Truth as a producer, when we first started the company, one thing that we decided as a team was that there were going to be 4 kind of values that our content was going to live by. And we were going to have these 4 values kind of follow through in everything that we do. All right, and that was really our focus on everything that we built. And so I want to take you through that really quickly. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the producer of a film called Teen Truth, Bullying School Violence. This is a film that we actually made in 2006. We made it in response to the Columbine High School shooting because we really want to give kids a voice around that issue and give them the opportunity to talk about some of the things that were bothering them inside. With the success of the film, the first film went on to be one of the top selling anti-bully films in the country. We were able to make a second film on drugs and alcohol abuse. We actually made a third film on body image and self-esteem, and we made a 4th film on parenting. Okay, and we estimate that since these films have come out, they've reached about 11 million people across the country. They're using over 7,000 schools around the world. And to be honest, a short film like this, a 20-minute film, normally has no business finding that success in Hollywood. For us as young filmmakers, we would see other filmmakers making short films and they would amount to nothing, right? I was involved in some of these too. Like we'd produce a short film, we'd put money into a film, and because it was a short film, it never really found a market. And these 4 films that you see sitting in front of you have definitely found a market. They've reached millions of people. They've brought in millions of dollars. Unfortunately, not all of it went in my pocket. But our distributor, our investor, everyone attached to these films, was able to make a living with these films. And so what are the 4 values that really guided us as we put this company together and as we built our films? The first is, let me pop off here. The first is just strictly making a difference. We wanted to make sure that as filmmakers, everything that we did was about making a difference, making an impact, whether it's social or emotional in the eyes of our viewers. We really wanted to use our filmmaking to make that impact. And I see when you look at those films that we just had on screen, that's what you see a little bit more of. We also want to make sure that we're making it happen. like I said, you know, a lot of films get made. A lot of people want to make films. We knew that if we were going to make a living making films, you know, you've probably got a better chance at the roulette table making money than you do making money making a film. Okay, so we knew that we had to make it happen. We literally had to get out there and pound the pavement. So I'm going to go into that with you. We knew we had to make it better. You know, when we started Teen Truth, it was the early 2000s. And, you know, I know HBO has always been big, but during that era was kind of when The Sopranos show was out. And HBO, they might still have the slogan. I'm not sure if they still have it, but they had this slogan. They said, you know, it's not TV, it's HBO. And Sopranos was kind of one of those first TV shows that brought, you know, movie production values and movie production like actors and storytelling to the small screen. And as a result, they really revolutionized, you know, TV as we know it today. We wanted to make sure that everything we did was up at that level. And lastly, we want to make sure that it lasts. As producers, we want to make sure we're putting out content that could be watched over and over again, that could stand the test of time, that was something that we could be proud of and that our audience could connect with time and time again. So let's look at this. Like, as we're looking to kind of like pull content together and bring kids together, how can we make a difference? How can we use these 4 values to make that difference in our kids' lives? And I think the first thing that we can do as teachers is make sure that everything that we're doing via remote learning has kind of this social emotional awareness to it. You know, encouraging teachers and reminding teachers of the situation that students might be in. Always thinking like, are they able to connect right now? Are they in the mental place to connect? And I think the way that we can do that is by putting our relationship first with them. All right, making sure that we've established a relationship. Like you saw in Ronaldo's question, like, how do we engage these students? Well, they have to like us first, right? Like, we got to get out in front of this and be someone who they can connect with. And that's why that relationship piece is so important. And then thirdly, I think we really need to create activities that kids can engage with and engage with in an interactive space. Now, I know that there are many activities you can do. Programs like Zoom have great functionality where you can use breakout rooms. And one of the things that I've done is in our leadership summits, I needed to create an activity. You know, where I was used to doing all these activities in a gym or, you know, in a multi-purpose room at a school. And I needed to create some other kind of activity that I could do over Zoom. And at Teen Truth, we talk a lot about this idea of kind of wearing a mask and telling our truth. And so I developed, it might be a little hard to see there, but I developed this just worksheet, a very simple worksheet, the inside of your mask, the outside of your mask. And in our leadership summits, I have the kids pull out some crayons or markers, and I have them just write, like, what's on the outside of your mask? What do you show the outside world? What do you show the inside world? I tell them you can write words, you can use colors, you can use pictures. And then I send the kids into a breakout room to process it and talk about it, which also allows me the ability to kind of bring them back here to the main stage to process it as a large group. The reason why I like that is because I created a constructive activity that they got to do together. Okay, I usually I turn on some music, we do the activity together, and then I send them into breakout rooms. And I believe that creates the space for them to do the work and then the space for them to interact. And so maybe as I'm sharing this, you know, thinking about ways that your teachers or ways that you can work with your students where you can kind of set up this social and emotional conversation that builds a relationship with you, and then, you know, create an activity where they can like engage and do that work. And so that's, I think, like using that value of making a difference can be really valuable here in the work that you're doing. And this might apply like for a leadership summit, but you could do this in a math class or a history class. I mean, you can still do this type of work no matter what the subject matter is. Now, the other value that we have that we really believe in is making it happen. Making it happen is just so important for us as filmmakers, for you as educators. This is a picture right here, if you can see her down below me. This is Donna McNeil, the crazy lady with the orange cape on. Donna is one of our most favorite clients. She's an activity director out in the Sacramento area, and Donna makes it happen. She pounds the pavement to build school culture. All right, what does she do? What does she do? She gets out in front of it. Sorry about that. We are live here doing this program for you. So she kind of controls her brand, okay? I had a mentor tell me once, you know, you need to control your brand, because if you don't define your brand, someone else will define it for you. And that's what I would kind of ask that Ronaldo principle that we saw the comment from earlier. Are his teachers defining their brand? Are they getting out in front of it? Or are they letting their students define that brand for them? That brand maybe right now is not being engaged, not wanting to show up. And so the way that we can do that is strictly by like marketing and sales, right? Like this is something that we had to find out at Teen Truth. We had to go pound the pavement. We had to make the phone calls. We had to find ways to get our program in front of schools, and we had to find ways to engage with students when we were there to create that word of mouth. I think this is really important for our educators to realize, is that they have a personal brand now, more so than any other time in the history of education. Normally, kids just come into their classroom, do the work, they leave, whatever, they got to be there. Well, now, as you're seeing in that post, they kind of have a choice. It really is that sink or swim opportunity. And for us to kind of get out in front of it like Donna did, like we had to do like Teen Truth, we built that brand that kids and educators want to connect with. So what are you doing to kind of build that brand? And then most importantly, what are you doing to make it better, right? You know, my time at Disney that I got to, that's like the #1 lesson I learned working at Disney. Like when I reflect back on that experience, it was learning how to do things the Disney way. You can see Walt right here. In every park you walk into, you're going to see Walt, you're going to see Mickey Mouse. They have done such a good job branding his vision and branding that company. And one thing Walt believed is that he had to do it better. And so one thing that I think is important for you to realize when working with students is you've got to use technology better, okay? Now, for this right here, I wanted to make it as live as possible. You even saw the mistake I made with the PowerPoint. We are on Zoom right now, okay? I am recording this via Zoom right now. You might notice that maybe there's some pixelation because the video quality might not be the best. But one thing that maybe you've noticed is that I've been switching back and forth between an HD camera. So I have a Sony A6100 on a tripod in front of me. I've actually got my wife's computer. I got my wife's computer right here that you're seeing the slides on. And then of course my computer is running the Zoom call. Through this video switcher I have, it's called an ATEM Mini. That's ATEM Mini. The ATEM Mini is allowing me to do the switching. It's allowing me to drop picture in picture. I can move the picture in picture around. I have full control. What is my hope with this kind of technology is that it's a little bit more organic. Hopefully it feels a little bit better. I'm not like some guy like sitting behind a laptop, like working on a laptop, right? I'm not doing a webinar. I'm standing here, I'm in front of you, just like I would be in a classroom, just like I would be in a gym if we had 1,000 kids in a gym for an assembly right now. Are your teachers using a similar setup? Do they have professional lighting? Are they speaking to a camera on a tripod? Can you invest in some technology that allows this type of switching? Sorry, I just screwed it up there. See, you got to know what buttons you're hitting. And the other thing I think that is really important if you want to make it better too, especially when we talk about like marketing ourselves and getting out in front of it, is bringing outside voices into the conversation as well. Bringing these outside voices, whether it's someone like me, another motivational speaker, whoever it might be, kind of bringing them in and hosting like interactive summits, assemblies, or you can even imagine like a career day, something where students are basically being marketed an opportunity that they want to get engaged in and be a part of. And I think that's what's so important about making content better. You know, at Disney, they always teach us to ask ourselves, what would Walt do? You know, what would Walt do if he was making this right now? If he was doing this series, like how would he make it better, right? We'd probably have some pixie dust floating around right now. So if your teachers can think of the same way to kind of like find a way to make it better and up their game technology-wise, you can see right here, this is an example. So this is a picture of me doing a leadership summit this summer. You can see here on screen, you can see the light. The light is over here, okay? You can see the light, the ring lights that's lighting me right now. Actually, this shot is a few months ago when I actually had my iPhone on a tripod. So you can see the iPhone on the tripod. I'm actually using my, back then, so right now I'm using a lapel mic, so hopefully you're getting some pretty good audio. Back then I was using my podcasting mic that I have, and you can see the multiple laptops running the program. So what's really cool is with this switcher, This is the A10 Mini right here. It's a little hard to see, but I'm running a really small little TV studio right here. This thing has 4 HDMI inputs. Churches are using this now to do live programs over the internet. They can switch between the pastor speaking at multiple angles. They could show the band playing music, go to the guitar, go to the piano, go to the lead singer. This is pretty powerful. And so there is technology out there that's allowing you to create a much better experience, right, for our students. Are your teachers sitting behind a laptop, sitting behind a desktop, or are they standing? Does it have organic flow? Right now we can go to the slides, but imagine if I just clicked a video and I said, hey, I want you to watch a Teen Truth trailer. Boom, here's a trailer, right? So it's very organic, and I believe it just kind of ups the value of everything that we're doing. Now, the last value that we had was about making it last, and really like creating content that could stand the test of time. I didn't know him personally, or I don't know him personally. He's not like a mentor of mine or anything, but Dick Wolf, he produced the Law and Order series, and he produces all kinds of other shows. But one thing I saw in an article or interview he did or something was how hard he works to make Law and Order timeless. So when it comes to the clothes they wear, the way they shoot the show, the stories they're telling, he wanted to stand this test of time. And one thing I find that's interesting about that show, even though it took place maybe in like the 80s and 90s, like a lot of their clothing, a lot of their hairstyles, like still kind of maintains true today. Like the detectives always had just a suit on, the lawyers always had just a basic suit on, and so we've had to make similar decisions in our content as well, because what you got to ask yourself when you're creating content, if it's going to last, is will students want to watch it again, right? Like we had the same struggle with our films. Most educational films that we saw growing up, we would never want to watch again, right? They were not good. They were not good films. When we set out to make Teen Truth, we wanted to make great content that kids would want to watch again, all right? Might be hard for your teachers to do on a daily basis, right? But are they creating content every now and then? Are they peppering in some really good stuff that kids might want to watch again? Or are they just slapping up some YouTube videos, right? And so trying to find that balance as a producer. The other thing I always ask myself too is, would a student watch the content on their own time, right? A lot of these students remotely, like you saw in Ronaldo's post, they have the choice to show up or not. They may, hopefully, you and I, for the relationship piece, we hope that they show up for the live Zoom call. They log in live with you, but they might not. Or maybe they have a family event or something to do and they might log in later. So are we creating content that they would really be excited to watch, time and time again, or on their own time? And so I know you might be thinking right now, like, this sounds great, JC, for a Hollywood producer, for someone who's working at Disney, for someone like Teen Truth that wants to create this content. Those are 4 great values. Make a difference, make it better, make it last, and make it happen, right? Those are great values for a producer to live by, but it might be hard for us to wrap our mind around that, like as teachers. And so I want to show you an example, all right? I want to show you an example of a teacher using this methodology, okay? She is making a difference, all right? She is making it happen. She is definitely making it better, and it's going to last. I believe kids will want to see this. So check this out. This is Kathy Cluck. Okay, she's a teacher actually here, kind of where I live in Austin. She teaches at Westlake High School, and Kathy is a history teacher. She knew at the beginning of school that they were going to be remote, so she got the green light from her principal to travel the country on like this American history road trip over 3,000 miles, where she has taught history classes from various historic sites in our country. She's been to the Lincoln Memorial. She's been to Gettysburg. She's been to, I don't know exactly what this is, but this was maybe like Jamestown or like some other battle was fought here, right? She has gone out and brought history to life, and her kids are following her, literally following her, just like they would follow a reality TV show or a celebrity. Kathy Cluck is making it happen. And so this is a very simple example. And I know that we might not all have the resources that she has at her school, but could you be doing something similar to bring your subject to life, to control your brand? Like I mentioned earlier, she is in control of her brand right now. Her kids see her as the traveling history teacher. She is bringing these things to life. She is making it happen. And I think our students can do that as well. And so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. I know it's a struggle to get kids involved in Zoom, but I really believe if you can follow those 4 kind of values as you're creating content, it will always lead you to the right place. It's what we've done for the last 20 years. I mentioned earlier how we've had success reaching millions of people around the world, and we continue to grow our programs using the exact same values. And if you want to go a little bit deeper and learn a little bit more, I did want to offer you just a free gift for attending today. I wrote a book on building school culture from the inside out. You know, as a filmmaker, as a producer, traveling to these schools all across the country, I really just started to see things that were working well, things that weren't working well. I put them together in a very simple book that you can download for free. If you go to teentruth.net/schoolculture, you can download the book for free. We'll email it to you directly. It's just kind of my gift to you for showing up and trying to help you out. And even though I wrote the book a few years ago before COVID, there's still a lot of great content in there that you can use today to empower student voice and to build school culture across your campus. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at teentruth.net or just find me out on social media at JC Pohl. Good luck out there. Good luck with your remote learning. You take care. You have a great day.